friends. My name is Dr. Jyoti Gupta, and I am a senior IVF consultant and center head Indra IVF Faridabad. There are many patients who come to me for IVF and have a number of doubts and questions about the procedure of IVF. There are a number of myths that they've heard about, and they would want a clarification on if the facts are actually true or not. All that I advise them is that all the information that they get from somebody who's not an IVF expert is largely not the right information, because it is largely based on social understanding of the procedure. But as an IVF expert or a specialist, somebody can guide you towards the medical experience, and the facts should always be based on what medical science tells you. So today, let's try to bust such myths and find out what is true and what is not true about IVF. Friends, IVF is no longer a new technique for anybody in India or the world, I would say, because it has been there in existence for more than 40 years now. But despite that, there are certain myths that need to be talked about. So let's start with the myths that people have. One most common question that I hear people say or ask me is, ma'am, it is said that it is a very painful procedure. Is it a painful procedure? Friends, it is not a painful procedure at all. The times are long gone. There was a time when the procedure was considered painful because it was a new technique developing and the injections were not so advanced. All the medications that were given were not so advanced, and because it was a new technique, so there was a fear in the mind of people and also the clinicians at one point of time. But it has long been gone, and today it is a painless procedure completely. And even the injections that are used for the stimulation and for the ovulation, the induction of ovulation, are extremely simple. And guys, most of the injections are rather patient friendly injections and can be taken on your own. So it is not a painful procedure at all. And to prove the point that it is not painful, I would like to tell you the fact that when embryo transfer is done, it is done without anesthesia. We are so confident of the technique that we're doing that even anesthesia is not required during the embryo transfer. So forget the fact that it is a painful procedure. It is absolutely not. The second myth that people have in mind is, and they ask me very often, is, ma'am, will we need complete bed rest? Are we supposed to leave our jobs and be on bed for 9 months after we conceive through IVF? Absolutely not. Again, a myth. That is not a true fact. Rather, IVF is a very safe procedure these days, because, as I said, the medical science has advanced and it has an experience in IVF of over 40 years now. So it is not true that you need bed rest for it. It is as natural a pregnancy as a natural conception. So if at all there is a need of rest of any kind, bed rest is absolutely not required. If there is any need of any rest for any kind, it is based on the problems that you have in pregnancy and absolutely not based on the fact that it is an IVF conception. And again, to prove the point, I would like to tell you that when we do the embryo transfer, the patient is not even moved to their respective places on stretchers in the ward. The patient has to go on her own feet and sit there on whatever seat she has. So, and the embryo transfer once done, the patient is put out of the bed in a few seconds. We are not advising you to be there in bed or be moved on stretchers. So if I am not worried about your the embryo transfer after 2 seconds of the embryo transfer being done, why would a doctor be worried after you go home? So it is absolutely a painless procedure and absolutely no bed rest is required for this. You can resume your duties the very next day after the embryo transfer is done, and you can continue working if you are a working woman, and even if you are a homemaker, you can continue doing all the routine activities that you do at home. So these facts are not true. The third thing that I'm often asked is that it is said that you will end up having only and only twins or triplets after the IVF is done, and the chances of having a singleton pregnancy are very rare. Again, a fact that is not true. I would say, see, this is true that as compared to the natural conception, obviously the chances of having a multiple conception are more in IVF. But it depends upon a number of factors, like how many embryos at what stage have been transferred. As I said, it is now an advanced technique, and a lot of work and experience has come up with IVF now. Good centers would only transfer not more than 2 blastocyst embryos for you. Once 2 embryos go in, the chances of having a pregnancy is either a singleton pregnancy or twins at the most. The chances of having a triplet pregnancy or a quadruplet pregnancy these days is very rare, unless and until a number of embryos have been put in, which good centers do not do. And you would be surprised to know the fact that India and the world is moving towards the stage where a lot of people these days undergo single embryo transfer. We do not put in even 2 embryos for a number of people for a number of reasons. If the single embryo is put in, obviously the chances of having twins also reduces to a bare minimum. It is very, very rare to have twins once the single embryo goes in. And even if the twin embryos, that is 2 embryos go in, the chances of having a singleton pregnancy to a twin pregnancy is 50-50. That would mean if I am transferring 10 embryos, if I am transferring 2 embryos each patient to 10 patients, 5 of them will still end up having a singleton pregnancy and 5 of them will end up having a twin pregnancy. So beyond twins, no, it is absolutely rare these days, and also you can choose for single embryo transfer if you do not want twins. So this is the other myth that needs to be talked about. Some people are of opinion that once the embryo transfer is done through IVF, if you undergo an IVF procedure, the babies born out of it are not healthy. They have some kinds of complications, they have birth defects, and so on and so forth is the myth that people have. This is again absolutely a myth. It is not a fact at all. The chance of having an abnormal baby in IVF is as much as anybody who conceives through a normal conception. The chance of having an abnormal baby even through a natural conception is around 2 to 5%. The same is the risk with IVF. Rather, IVF would decrease the risk. It is rather less with IVF because there are certain techniques which will rule out the possibility of having a chromosomal anomaly in such patients. Like, we have a technique called PGTA, which is called pre-implantation testing for aneuploidies. In this technique, we take a biopsy from the embryo formed and we try to rule out the possibility of having a chromosomal anomaly, and only those embryos are implanted which are healthier. So the possibility of having an abnormal baby rather decreases with IVF and does not increase with it. So again, this is a myth. Another thing that people have in mind is once the ovulation induction is done through medications and drugs and injections in IVF, their egg reserve will decrease. No, again, it is not a true fact. Why? I will try to tell you. When we are ovulating, there are a number of eggs which start growing. Even in a natural conception, a number of eggs start growing, and only one of those eggs will ovulate in a natural cycle. All the other eggs, they die. They grow to a little extent and then they die. What we do in IVF is we prevent those eggs from dying and we try to use those eggs for fertilization. So in that case, anyways, even in the natural cycle, those eggs are going to die. They are not of any use. IVF is rather using them and trying to make you get pregnant. So in the other cycle, again, the eggs will be produced. They'll come out of the reserve and will start recruitment and start growing. So by no means is IVF decreasing your egg reserve. Rather, it is a boon for the patients whose egg reserve is naturally decreasing, because natural conceptions will get difficult with decreasing reserve, but IVF can help you in such cases. So again, it is not a myth. It is a myth that is not to be believed. Some people fear the fact that ovarian stimulation through IVF will lead to cancer. Again, there is something you need to understand. As I always say, that medical science is something which comes with logic. It doesn't come with magic. So if you understand the logic, all the myths will be busted by themselves. So when we induce you, when the ovulation induction is done and we try to increase the number of eggs so that more eggs are retrieved and we can form good embryos, these cycles are done under careful monitoring with minimum dosages that are required. No extra or high dosages are given. It is highly monitored procedure, and a number of cycles are not taken in. IVF is such an advanced procedure now. With good centers, the IVF results are so good that you do not need to go under a number of cycles, so the ovulation inductions are not repeated a number of times. By medical evidence, it is proven that at least 6 cycles of ovulation induction can easily be done without the fear of cancer or carcinoma at all. And believe me, in good centers, you do not need to go even 6 cycles. You would easily conceive in within 3 cycles of your IVF conception. Many pull through in the first cycle itself. So the chances of increased risk of cancer is again one myth that needs to be busted, and you need to understand about it. So I guess, guys, I could try and tell you what is wrong and what is the right fact about IVF. We'll meet again and discuss certain other things. Till then, take very good care of yourself, be happy and be healthy, and we'll meet you again. Thank you so much for watching.